I remember standing on the edge of the cliff looking out at the ocean and the sky. It was so vast and like... Welcome back to Travel Talk Tuesday. So there is a reason I'm filming outside today. That's because this week's topic is all about the best nature spots we have ever visited. I've got a bunch of places to cover. I have a lot of pictures to show you guys, so I'm gonna get right into it. Let's start in the US. I'm American, so of course I have been to many nature spots here in the US. And actually the first nature spot on this list is my hometown. I grew up in a little town called Anacortes, Washington. That is in the northwest corner of Washington State, and it's an island in the Puget Sound. Basically, the Puget Sound is this beautiful area of water that's protected from the ocean, but it's really big, so when you look at it, it almost feels like an ocean, and it's full of islands. Basically, one side is the US, one side is Canada. It's just this really gorgeous area full of like ridiculously beautiful islands. If you're in Anacortes for the good views, you should definitely take a ferry around the San Juans. You definitely have to go to Washington Park, and you should probably drive up Cap Stanley just to get a nice lookout point. But basically, going on a drive anywhere around the island that I grew up on is gorgeous. Oh my god, I forgot about Rosario Beach, Deception Pass. There's so many gorgeous places where I grew up. I did not appreciate it as a child. Next on the list is the Grand Canyon. So we did have a bit of a fateful experience going to the Grand Canyon, and we ended up in Grand Canyon West. I would recommend going to the east side of the park, but I did almost cry when I looked at it. I started tearing up because it was so beautiful. I couldn't like comprehend it. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. If you want to hear about the road trip that went completely wrong, link above. Next is a place I just recently went to, which is Saguaro National Park in Tucson, Arizona. It's full of huge saguaro cacti, these like rolling desert hills. It's just one of those places where you look out and you feel really small. Silver Falls in Oregon. I watch a channel called Steps to Wander, and they actually just went camping there. They live in Portland. I went to school in Salem, Oregon, and so we used to go on drives out to Silver Falls and go hike there when I was in college. I think there's like 11 waterfalls. They have camping. The hikes are ridiculously gorgeous. And it's really not that far from the main interstate from I-5. So in my opinion, that is a must-see place. I almost didn't add this one to the list, but I'm just gonna put Hawaii. I was actually staying at the Disney Resort in Ko'olina for work, so I was pretty much stuck at the resort. You know, I had a driver to take me to and from the airport, but I didn't have like free time or a car to go explore. But the views were incredible, and I want to go back to Hawaii really bad. Pro tip, if you're coming out from the west coast in the US, just don't bother adjusting your internal clock, because that way you get to see all the sunrises and it doesn't even disrupt your sleep schedule. It's great. I'll have to share that full story later actually, because it's kind of funny. I took this trip to Hawaii right after our wedding, but it was actually a work trip, so everyone thought we were on our honeymoon. They're like, why isn't Eric in any of the pictures? I'm like, because I'm here by myself in a resort. It was an interesting honeymoon. Next on the list is not very specific, but it's basically just any old growth forest in California. The giant trees around California are incredible. There are so many parks. You've got the Sierra Nevada National Park, Sequoia National Park, Yosemite, Redwoods. If you're gonna be in San Francisco, there's Muir Woods, which is pretty. We got Redwood Regional out here in the East Bay. Basically any old growth forest in California is absolutely gorgeous and a must-see spot in the US. Lastly on my list for the US is in North Carolina, actually. So Eric's parents live out in North Carolina, and they live near this really gorgeous place called Emerald Isle. The beach is literally perfection. Driving out there is like mind-blowing every time it happens. So that's it for my USA list. I'm sure I'm forgetting things, but let's move on to the next country, which is Ireland. I studied abroad in Ireland when I was in college, so I lived there for about 5 months, and I was based in Galway, which is on the west coast of Ireland. I did get to explore so much of Ireland. It was really awesome. In case you don't know, Ireland is actually about the size of the state of Maine. So there's a lot of stuff jam-packed really close together, and I was lucky enough to get the chance to see a lot of it. All the favorite nature spots are on the west side of Ireland. So let's start with my favorite, which is the Aran Islands. We ended up on Inishmore, which is the big island. The coolest thing about these islands are the cliffs. So we ended up taking some kind of ferry boat thing to the islands, and then we biked around them, and we ended up having lunch at this like beautiful cliffside bed and breakfast thing, and then they took us to these like cliffs where there's these like ruins and like rock formations and all kinds of cool stuff. I remember standing on the edge of the cliff looking out at the ocean and the sky, and like they met each other in the middle somewhere, but I couldn't tell where they met because it was so vast and like there's like the whole world is in front of you. It was a little mind-blowing, I think. That definitely affected me for a while, in a good way. It's just a really beautiful place. Next is not too far away. It's over in Carraroe, which is part of the Gaeltacht in Ireland. And that means it's an area where there's more Irish language spoken than English. Carraroe has this incredible beach that I don't think is like a tourist destination because it's always so hard for me to find on the map. But I remember it so clearly. It is Coral Beach, or that's how it was referred to us. And basically what it is instead of rocks or sand or dirt underneath your feet on the beach, it's tiny colorful pieces of coral. It is so beautiful. And when the waves come in and out, when they hit the coral, it makes the sound almost like a wind chime. It might be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen and heard. It's probably my favorite beach of all time. I can't talk about nature spots in Ireland without mentioning Cliffs of Moher. I'm sure you guys all know about it. It's probably the #1 tourist destination in Ireland. I went, you have to go, everybody should go. It's gorgeous. It's just these like cliff faces that kind of come out. I think there's like 5 of them in a row, and it just creates this incredible panorama. The story goes that the guy who discovered it, apparently there were a lot of people who think they discovered it, he used to bring the girls he was trying to impress to his like secret spot, and they would have a picnic and look out at the view. Like, I would marry that man immediately if I saw that view. Also, there's a bunch of puffins there. I had no idea till I went. Last fun fact about Cliffs of Moher. I had a sticker with Billy Mays' face on it. Comment below if you know who Billy Mays is. And I actually stuck it onto a sign on the top of the Cliffs of Moher. Good times. Next is the view from Aghadoe in Killarney, Ireland. So Killarney is Ireland's big national park. My friend and I went for a weekend. We stayed in a hostel, we went hiking a lot, and then there was this place called Aghadoe that she wanted to go to super bad. Apparently there was some crazy cemetery there that was super old, and like this old tower that was in ruins, and this mind-blowing view. So we walked there from downtown Killarney, and it's really far. I can't remember how far, but I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, we walked. I had no idea how far that was until we actually did the walk. And then we did walk all the way back also. It was 100% worth it. It was beautiful. You can look at photos of it, you can buy a postcard, but nothing, absolutely nothing compares to the view of it through your eyes. There's more depth and texture and detail than what you can see in the photos. Last place on the list for Ireland is a beach that I can't pronounce the name of, but I'll put it on the screen. Coumeenoole? Anyways, this is near Dingle, Ireland, which is further south from Galway, but it's still on the west coast. You know how Ireland kind of goes zoop and has these like island and fingers and peninsulas coming out at the bottom? Yeah, Dingle's in there. It's really a pretty area. They filmed a ton of movies over there because it's just absolutely beautiful. So lastly is Asia. And I'm sure you know this by now, but I actually lived in China for most of 2016. I almost went to Huangshan and I almost went to Guilin. Those two almost definitely would have made this list, but for really annoying reasons, I didn't make it out there. So we'll have to go back to China, and I have a seriously massive list of places I need to see next time I'm in China. So the only place in mainland China that actually made this list is Gubeiko, which is the Wild Wall. It's part of the Great Wall in China. I have got a whole vlog on it linked up above. We took a private van out there with a bunch of other Waigwaren, which means foreigners. We hiked this wall. It was an insane hike, super beautiful, really unrestored natural beauty, and the view from the top was gorgeous. Next on the list is basically anywhere in Hong Kong. I hiked Dragon's Back, and the view from there was ridiculous. I took the, I don't know how to pronounce it, Skytram thing up to the big Buddha thing. I'll put things on the screen so you know what the hell I'm talking about. But basically that Skytram had some views I was not expecting. And then there's the beaches. I went to Tai O Fishing Village. The bus ride out there was like a freaking tour in itself. It was like a nature tour. I felt like I was in Jurassic Park. It was so gorgeous. And then Shek O Beach, which is a little further out. That was at the end of my Dragon's Back hike. That beach is amazing. And Repulse Bay is a classic beach in Hong Kong. Super pretty. Those are all beautiful places, beautiful nature spots. Hong Kong actually has a lot of really great beaches and hiking, and I don't think it's associated that way very often. I think people mostly think of like the urban environment. But yeah, there's a lot of beautiful nature spots there. Next is Koh Lanta. You know, I have a very, very soft spot in my heart for Koh Lanta. It's got beaches, it's got sunsets, it's got cliffs, it's got jungle. It is just a gorgeous, place. It is one of the prettiest places I've ever been in my life. The most memorable view though there was for sure this view from a particular like bar. I think it's called like Cliff House. It's crazy. We're gonna move inside because apparently everyone in the neighborhood decided to mow their lawn. Anyways, the last one on the list is Ta Prohm in Cambodia, which is in Siem Reap, and it's part of the Angkor Temple complex. Ta Prohm is that one that you see with the trees like growing around the temples and through the temples and like out from the middle of the temples, and there are these old trees. It's the most unique nature spot I've ever been in my life. I could have spent probably all day there if it hadn't have been 100 degrees and 5,000% humidity. Yeah, it was just, I feel like I've said this a lot, but mind-blowing. It was legitimately mind-blowing. Don't forget to check out all those links down below. I've got a playlist for this week's Travel Talk Tuesday topic, so you can hear perspectives from a bunch of other travelers, as well as the links to the channels of the Travel Talk Tuesday tribe. If you're new here, I make videos about traveling with anxiety, about living well with anxiety, and sometimes just about travel, just about anxiety. Those are the two main topics, so if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. We just hit 2,000 subscribers, and we are growing like crazy. We also have a private community on Facebook. If you want to join that, I have a link down below. Plus, I wanted to give you guys a little heads up that I am going to be doing a bit of traveling this month, more of the like local type travel, but you don't have to get on a plane to travel. I'm going to Russian River in about a week and a half, and I'm going to be staying in a cabin on the river. It's going to be super fun. We actually booked it almost a year ago. It's going to be me and 3 other old married ladies. It's going to be really fun. And then Eric and I do have some special guests coming later this month, so we'll be taking them around the Bay Area and showing them the different sites and actually exploring places we've never been. I'm also gonna try to get a trip to Yosemite in this summer. I'm really excited. There's been talk of a lot of different trips, so nothing is in stone, but I just want to let you guys know that there are things in the works, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of that. Lastly, for next week's Travel Talk Tuesday topic, which I can't divulge to you just yet, but it's one that I want your participation in, so I wanted to do a live stream. I'm really excited. I've never done a live stream before. I'm very nervous about it. Live stream anxiety. I'll have to make a Mental Health Monday video about having anxiety about having a live stream, and then on Tuesday we can do our live stream and feel okay with it. So comment below with a time that would work well for you in your time zone. I'll translate it to my own time zone, and then I'll find a time that works for a bunch of us. With live streams, they get uploaded to the channel, so if you miss the live stream, you can still watch the video. So anyways, I'll see you next week for that Travel Talk Tuesday topic, but here on this channel, I will see you tomorrow. I don't even know what I'm uploading yet, but I should probably figure that out. I'm in recovery mode because last week my anxiety attacked me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, click the link above. Thanks for watching today, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye!